It's Nolan. Give me room, give me space. When I walk into the place, keep your eyes on straight. Eyes on straight, keep your eyes on straight. Eyes on straight, keep your eyes on straight. Wait, give me room, give me space. When I walk into the place, keep your eyes on straight. Eyes on straight, keep your eyes on straight. Eyes on straight, keep your eyes on straight. Hey, when I'm in doubt, I bring it back to the south. These label niggas acting fishy too, we treat them like trout. My contract stipulation keep me pleasing the crowd. But if they hatin', I may have to amputate them like y'all. My nigga, who that? Y'all wasn't around for them fools down. Rockin' steel toes, yeah, around like it's boot camp. Hiding like Osama when my crush started looking till I started slinging wood like a young Paul. Boy, you know my motherfucking minutes. Run game like a scrimmage. Got the fam out the trenches. My potential got no limits. Need change like a limits. I uphold my commitments. Nigga used to be timid. That white pledge independence been a go. The rappers didn't want to admit. I got the game in a choke. Now they gotta submit. I'm hot as it gets. Dropping payments down on the crib. I kept it solid with my partners and they pockets legit. Yeah.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody is doing well out there today. In this particular video, we're going to be getting into Pusha T because the Clipse have a new interview out. It's a visual interview this time. It's not print. It's not something that we have to read. They have a new interview out that was just released, I believe, last night. They go into all types of details about, putting the album together, getting back in the studio, Malice coming back to the group, all of those different things. But of course, within that conversation, they also address this Kendrick Lamar verse on Chains and Whips. They talk about the Def Jam situation, how they were facing resistance, censorship, all of those different things while they were still in that contract. And what could have, triggered or offended the label or made them so nervous to have a knee-jerk reaction as to allow them to leave the label or try to, pigeonhole them to say, well, if y'all are steadfast on putting this record out, then y'all need to do it elsewhere, right? So we're going to pull that up. But then I also want to talk about this rollout of the Clipse album in general, because as of early today, we now have even more snippets from the Clipse album that are circulating on social media. LeBron James officially came out and played some of what he has on his Insta story, which I do believe LeBron is not going to come out and play nobody's music before it's authorized. I think those days are long gone. I know LeBron used to do that, to play, snippets of the unreleased before he got the artist clearance. But I don't think that this was unauthorized, which also calls into question the conversation that was going on yesterday about AZ Chike putting out that verse from Kendrick on Chains and Whips, because a lot of people were very angry at him for putting that on his story very shortly after he erased it from his story, but it was able to surface online. And, we heard the majority of Kendrick's verse, although we still have not heard the entirety of it. It looks like this week we're now getting more pieces from the album in a more unofficial way. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting it from releases. We're not getting it from singles. We're not getting it from music videos. It's now social media posts of audio being played from loudspeakers. So you're not getting the full CD, HD, wave format of it. You know what I mean? You're hearing it from a third party audio source. Kind of wondering why they're doing this, right? We're only a couple weeks away from Let God Sort 'Em Out coming out. I understand that, they're independent. They're with Roc Nation now. They're doing everything on their own. Therefore, they need to build their buzz. But I think that the height of the buzz for this project has already reached its peak. Like, we're ready for it. I think the only thing that could have been better was if the album were to be released this Friday instead of July 11th. I think that was a little bit of an oversight. They probably should have moved the date up. because now we're ready for the album. We still got weeks to go, and now we're hearing pieces of the album that, again, me personally, I would rather hear in the continuity of the project. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy as a longtime Clipse fan to have this moment, to see and witness this moment, because I feel like the Clipse today have more buzz around them than quite possibly ever, or it's reaching that level that it once was around the time of the Lord Willing album, when grinding was the biggest thing out there. You know what I mean? And that means a lot to me, because when grinding first came out, the Clipse came to my middle school, and they weren't huge yet. We didn't know who they were. They literally were just walking in our hallway. I think they were, I think the label had them out visiting schools, doing meet and greets just to get their faces out there. Wasn't a lot of support for them in the beginning. And I literally met them when I was like, I think I was about 12 at the time. And I asked, me and my friend, we asked Malice what his name was. He told us his name was Malice. And we was like, yo, what does that mean? And he said, get a dictionary, look it up. And he walked off. You know what I mean? So things like that stick with me, to the point where seeing them at this level they're at now definitely means a lot, that they still have that much longevity. Met them niggas when I was 12 years old. I'm in my mid-30s now. And they're still out here doing their motherfucking thing. All right, let's get to Pusha T in this interview. All right. So, Clipse on Def Jam Not Wanting Kendrick Lamar verse on their new album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. Let's get to it.
Keep it moving. You put out Story of Adidon on SoundCloud instead of commercially. The Pop Smoke
that happened.
Removed.
The verses get removed.
All right, for context here, where they're starting is Pusha T after, or I should say during the Story of Adidon, going back and forth with Drake. He puts that on SoundCloud. He's facing resistance from UMG Def Jam. Then the thing happens with Pop Smoke. They're leading into the Pop Smoke, and that's going to lead up to the Kendrick thing. Just want to, because it jumps in at a weird part.
Moved. A couple verses get removed. I move on.
Right.
I just move on musically.
Right.
So
then fast forward to 2024.
Fast forward, yeah.
Drake and Kendrick do their thing.
Boom.
Drake files a lawsuit.
Boom.
You play them your new song with a Kendrick verse on it.
Boom.
How do they react?
Now, mind you, the energy up to that point is everybody's clamoring, oh, new album's coming, so on and so forth. Excitement. Everybody's ready. Listen, we 10 songs, 11 songs, 12 songs away. I mean, close. We show up with the Kendrick verse, and everything's halted. It's halted. It's said that it will not be put out. They just didn't want to put it out. They would not speak via email.
They don't want anything in writing.
Yeah, the label would not send emails.
Nothing in writing.
Nothing in writing to my management. They would call my management, 10 times in a row.
Now that's interesting. Def Jam out here, okay, so they didn't want no actual record of the conversations they were having surrounding this Kendrick Lamar verse, right? Now remember, this all ramped up, I believe, around July of last year. In the original interview where this was brought up by Pusha T and the Clipse, I believe they stated this was July of last year when all of this happened. So I see some people, once again, putting out information that can't be stamped. People are claiming that Kendrick dropped this verse before the beef with Drake. Some people believe that this verse is possibly going in the direction of a J. Cole. I can't say definitively whether it is or not, so I won't speak on that because I don't know. Some people feel like the Judas line is aimed at Cole. Prophet, he's got a song called False Prophets. So there's a few things that people feel could be aimed at Cole, which I can't refute. I can't say yes or no. But if this issue arose in July of last year, that's definitely post beef. That's around the time Not Like Us was bubbling through the music video and the pop out. You know what I'm saying? So you had Juneteenth, and then you had the Not Like Us video come out in July. So that's where all of this tension is coming from. And remember, Drake is putting pressure on UMG during that time. He's giving his first remnants of, y'all need to get this song taken down. Y'all need to get that song censored. I'm going to sue y'all. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And Universal is basically fending him off. Okay? And in the background, Def Jam is conversing with the Clipse and not wanting any sorts of records of these conversations. So they're making sure that they're calling to have verbal conversations. That's interesting to me because they didn't want what's now happening is anybody that had anything to do with Not Like Us or Kendrick Lamar in the past year, business-wise, is being, subpoenaed to put contracts and email correspondence and text messages and all of these different things. They're being forced to submit these things into discovery because of his lawsuit. So I find it very interesting that they avoided having any sorts of records that could one day be submitted into discovery.
Trying to get all of this, trying to, just plead their case. Mm-hmm. Now, there was nothing even to be, they didn't like the optic, in my opinion, they didn't like the optics
of two Drake foes teaming up.
Right.
Yeah. Did there a line they pinpointed?
Censor? They pinpointed a line where the phrase Trump card was used. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's so stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the phrase Trump card was used.
And we haven't even heard the line with the Trump card in it. We heard a lot of bars from Kendrick. Still haven't heard a Trump card line.
And they said that they didn't want any problem with Trump.
Come on.
Or something like that as well.
Unrelated to...
Yeah, unrelated. Totally even unrelated. Yeah, totally unrelated.
Just a Trump...
Yeah.
A Trump,
yeah.
So you felt like they were looking for something?
Of course. They were looking for...
To halt the optics.
1,000%. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
And how did you guys take that? They said either censor this verse, take him off, or what?
Well, we ignored it because it was so crazy to us. We like, nah, this can't be real. This can't be real. So we ignored it. And then one day, I believe it was Steve Gawley made the call.
A lawyer
at UMG and was like, hey, look, I'm not stupid, guys. You guys aren't stupid. You guys aren't, changing anything. We'll drop the clips. Pusha has to stay. And
as a solo
we'll just
artist.
We'll just have to move on. But that doesn't work.
Sure.
Right? That doesn't work. Ultimately, we were like, yo, what's the way to do the business? Like, how can we buy ourselves off of this label?
Right. And Steven Victor, your manager, gave an interview with Billboard. He said there was essentially a 7-figure payment to free you guys from your contract.
Yeah.
They're going to take a little bit of profit off of this new album.
Yep.
So here we are 20 years later, and you're still in the
label
thick of
drama.
It with label drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
crazy. All right, so that's the end of that clip. Now, pun intended. However, if you want to see the entire interview, it's over an hour long. Let me look up the name of the channel because I saw it out last night, but this is a channel I've never seen or heard of before. So it was very interesting that they got this interview. So it's on a channel called Popcast. And again, I've never seen their channel before, never seen their interviews before or their content, but shout out to Popcast for landing it. You feel me? Very interesting that UMG or Def Jam and UMG were nitpicking about this Trump card line, which again, we haven't heard, but if I was a betting man, I would assume that Trump card line was taken as a Drake diss. I'm not saying that it was aimed to be a Drake diss, but I'm sure they perceived it to be. If you look at the way that Drake has been moving the past few years, if you've seen the people he's aligned himself with, you see the people he's coming out on stage with, just as recent as a couple days ago, that whole Morgan Wallen thing, which I didn't even cover on the channel. You know, you see the different people that he's supporting, him aligning himself with the Hells Angels and having one of the Hells Angels guys in his Family Matters video. We see whether or not Drake is aligned with somebody like a Trump, he's becoming a Trumpian figure in his own right. So I understand why some people may have taken it that way at the label. And then of course there's the optics of Kendrick Lamar and Clipse working together in the, you know, interim of Kendrick just coming off of verbally assassinating Drake on the public world stage, and then getting with the Clipse, who of course Pusha T has done the same. I don't think they were justified in the way that they handled the situation as in Def Jam UMG, but from a corporate position, and Drake has been their darling, their cash cow, their you know, one of their primary investments over the past 15 years. I understand some level of sensitivity coming from them because they've been wanting to keep him happy. Not Def Jam specifically, but UMG. Now let's get into what we have from the verse, all right? Because yesterday we got to hear it. I know some people came to my channel and they were angry at the fact that the song was actually cut out of my video. However, I have no control over that. Once we get hit with copyright over here, we comply, all right? Because I'm not risking my channel. I'm sorry. So we have Kendrick here in the verse that we've heard. He says, I'm not the candidate to vibe with. I don't fuck with the kumbaya shit. So I'm not the guy to come to for the peace talks. We're not doing no vibing. Fuck all the bullshit, all right? And I find it very interesting to use the word candidate, and then we hear something about Trump later, right? I think that's a very interesting parallel there. And of course, we also seen Punch come out from TDE talking about, you know, the delineation between the two fan bases, or the fan bases that have chosen their sides in this hip hop debate between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and what comes with both sides and the ideologies. So it does have a political undertone, although we're dealing with hip hop, right? All that talent must be God sent. I sent your ass back to the cosmics. Now, some people believe, again, that these lines are aimed at J. Cole. I don't know. I don't know if that's J. Cole. You know, out of the three artists, I guess you could say J. Cole and the three being formerly known as the Big Three. J. Cole may have been seen as more of the cosmic kind of guy, you know, but I don't know that to be a fact. It could be the cosmics of Drake having his head in the clouds on Nothing Was the Same album cover. It could be J. Cole sent your ass back to the cosmics. That fucking music video of him falling out the sky. So it could be, you know, either or. The things I've seen under my eyelids: Kaleidoscope Dreams, Murder, and Sirens. So he's getting into things that he's seen. You know, of course, Under His Eyelids Will Be His Eyes. Let's Be Clear, Hip Hop Died Again. Half of my profits may go to Rakim. I've seen some people talking about this half of my profits may go to Rakim line. Some people were, you know, paralleling this to a double entendre with actual profit rather than profits monetarily. I've seen some people that were out there speaking on Nas creating that hip hop fund for the legends in hip hop, and Rakim was the first to receive the grant from Nas, where literal profits went to Rakim. So there's layers in that line. Then he says, how many Judases done let me down? Again, some people believe that's a J. Cole bar because, of course, Judas would be a betrayer. J. Cole, between the three parties, himself, Kendrick, and Drake, he was a neutral party, supposedly. But when everything came to his head, he ended up kind of being on Drake's side by proxy with the whole first person shooter. He caught I ain't gonna even say a stray. He caught a bullet through which that was aimed at both of them, and then he jumped out, dissed, apologized, the whole thing. But I think there definitely was a level of disappointment on Kendrick's side to be like, damn, this is what it comes down to. I get it. And, you know, a lot of people still mad at J. Cole about that. I get it too. It is what it is, you know? But fuck it, the West Minds, we right now. All right. So he's saying, how many Judases done let me down? But fuck it. The West Mind, we right now. So basically saying, I don't need nobody else. I got the West. I got the West on my back. The West Mind, we right now. We up. So if I don't make no more new friends, cool. I got the West and we good. Therapy showed me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck, right? So the therapy leading into the Mr. Morale album. And I think it's very interesting because if you remember, last year, there were also reports before we received GNX that the tone of Kendrick's next album was going to be Mr. Morale has left, right? So I think this verse probably helped shape that sentiment as well. Therapy showed me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck. Like I've gotten in tune with all of my feelings, all of my, trauma, all of my past wounds, all of my own transgressions, my everything, all of the quirks, all of the rights and wrongs about me. And as I've confronted all those things, it just showed me I don't give a fuck, nigga. It's whatever, because I am fully in tune with who I am, my surroundings, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And then we get into the two-time Gemini with the genocide, okay? And then of course, we know Gemini is two sides. He's always rapped about being a Gemini and you know, even on Deets/Bodies, he talks about the Gemini twin powering up and all that stuff. So that's always been an essential piece of Kendrick's music and personality. The two-time Gemini with the genocide. He's here to fuck some shit up, ready to clap some niggas for power. I'm generous. However you want it, I be the gentle kind. Like however you want it, nigga. You want smoke? I give it to you. I be gentle. Hey, I will acquiesce to whatever it is that you request, but it's going to end up in your ass being induct. I be the gentle kind, gentlemen and gangsters connect, the agenda of mine. And if y'all don't know about Gangsta and a Gentleman, that's a Styles P reference. Gentlemen and gangsters connect, the agenda of mine, bringing the gentlemen and the gangsters together, which has always been Kendrick's position. Move niggas up out of here. This shit get gentrified. All right? So all the fake niggas, all the fuck niggas, all the bullshit, all the whack shit, niggas gotta move. This shit finna get gentrified for the better. Heavy jeans like Genevieve's. I drop your Pentagon. You know what I'm saying? Heavy jeans like Genevieve's, the bloodline of the family. Right? But recreating that with his jeans. I drop your Pentagon. It's a terrorist attack. And show up at your gender reveal and tell him, give me mine. Right? So I'm showing up at your gender reveal. Y'all having a baby? Hey, I show up at your gender reveal, nigga. Anytime, any place, I'll come fuck up your happiness. Give me mine at the gender reveal, nigga. Yeah, y'all niggas having a whole I'm not with the kumbaya shit. A son niggas. I am the general. Where my gin and juice? I find it very interesting that he said, where my gin and juice? Especially when Drake had that line in Family Matters about, we know you like to be, we know that you think that you bishop and juice. We know that you like to put gin in your juice. Then there's also the Snoop piece of that. I am the general, where my gin and juice. So this could be like the second shot that we've heard from Kendrick in the direction of Snoop, which is probably why Snoop didn't stand up at the at the BET Awards a couple weeks ago when Kendrick received his awards. Because I'm sure word got around. I son niggas. I am the general. Where my gin and juice? I son niggas. Like at your gender reveal. I'm the general. I'm the new West Coast general, nigga. Where's my gin and juice? I took the spot. Every song in the Book of Genesis, let the sonics boom. Right? Book of Genesis, we're talking about biblical now. The beginning. Let the sonics boom. And of course, a sonic boom is, again, we're talking about some real traumatic terrorist shit. Niggas is finna get bombs on their ass. And some people might talk about Guile from Street Fighter, but I don't think he's talking about that. Niggas want the tea on me? Well, here's the ginger root. Let's get that ginger tea popping. You want the tea on me, nigga? Here's the ginger root. And of course, ginger root is also has a bitter taste. It'll fucking, you know what I mean? Some people can't handle straight ginger root in their mouth. It ain't fully bitter, but you know, it has should tingle the fuck out of your tongue. I generate residuals, bitch. Get off my genitals. Residuals, you know, the money. Get off my... They said I couldn't reach Gen Z, you fucking dickhead. You must be full of that ginseng. Here come the jinx, yeah. Said I couldn't reach Gen Z. He comes out and drops an album called GNX, which some people also felt was a play on Gen X. But still reaching Gen Z, right? People tried to make it seem like, or let me not say people, Drake tried to make it seem like, even J. Cole with his diss tried to make it seem like Kendrick was a thing of the past, like he was falling off, like he wasn't reaching the new generation because he made an album based on his therapy. He's like, oh, this nigga, he going off on some other shit. He's lost. He's out of here. He's falling off. So they said I couldn't reach Gen Z. You fucking dickheads. You must be full of that ginseng. Here come the jinx. Yeah. Must be drunk. Your genetics been synthetic, screaming they genius. All right. And I think a lot of people also feel that line was aimed at Kanye. Of course, we've seen the hate from Kanye towards Kendrick in recent months. This verse would have predated that, but who knows what type of bullshit Ye was on behind the scenes before all of this, right? Because remember, Ye was angry about not being on the official Like That remix. He leaked it himself. Not to mention all of the fuckery that was going on behind the scenes surrounding the Like That sample, interpolation, whatever. Kanye coming in and remaking the beat, resampling the beat, which turned out to be a big fucking clusterfuck, which has now got Rodney O in some trouble. We've talked to Nicole Key, who's, you know, trying to go through this with Rodney O. But all of that was happening last year and came to a head this year. So that could also be a thing. Your genetics been synthetic. And of course, synthetic is fake. Screaming they genius. A finger wave, they all fall. Niggas is Jenga. When you pull that block out and everything come scattering across the floor. I waved a finger. And you know, didn't Kendrick have a finger wave line before? Where he said some shit like one finger wave. I could have swore he had a finger wave line years ago. And now he's hearkening back to it. A finger wave, they all fall. Niggas is Jenga. God gave me light. A good year full of blank. And that's where the verse gets cut off. But clearly, there's more. which means we're going to be right here talking about this shit again when the full version gets put out. Now, let's get into this whole LeBron playing the music on the IG story. I'm not going to play it. But he played a sample of 2 songs. One sounded like a verse from Malice. The other was a snippet of a verse from Nas. It was already announced that Nas was going to be on the album. Listening to the portion that was released, we have Nas addressing, him showing us the way of previous generation MCs being able to receive Grammys in modern times. So he's basically popping his shit. Like, I'm showing y'all niggas the way. I'm showing y'all the blueprint of how to age gracefully in this shit and still be able to receive accolades and still be able to compete with the new generation while staying authentic to what it is that I do. Just aligning myself with people of the new that understand what it is that I do. I wasn't even trying to rhyme that. You know what I mean? It's just part of my DNA. But again, the same way I felt yesterday about the element of surprise being diminished. Again, I understand that the clips are building buzz, anticipation. But honestly, just off of the original Chains and Whips that we heard, based off of everything that was surrounding Ace Trumpets, everything that was surrounding the last record, So Be It, the other record that we've heard a portion of, the Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, which still might be my favorite that I've heard so far. And I think that's going to have Stove God Cooks on the hook. We've heard, pieces of 4 or 5 records. Now we got pieces of like a 6th and a 7th. How long is the album going to be? You know what I'm saying? Because Push was just talking about, 11, 12 songs or what have you. And I don't know, man. I'm going to play it. I'm going to bump this shit regardless. Once the album comes out, I'm not going to probably think about these days as much. But I do think there is a little bit of killing the element of surprise when we've heard pieces of damn near 6, 7 records, 5, 6 records, 6, whatever it is. And then there's only another 5 to 6 to like fully be surprised by. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Clipse. We're talking about Pharrell. We're talking about a movement that was started over 20 years ago. I want to be able to cut that bitch on and just be like fully encapsulated into that world. You know what I'm saying? And when I've heard pieces and whatnot of so much, it does take away from that experience a little bit. But I understand, again, this is it's a low cost form of marketing to just have, high profile people play pieces of it, build anticipation. This is a very, if we didn't see it, it didn't happen type generation that we're now dealing with. I understand those things as well. But I think up to this week, the rollout was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Just coming with the shit, giving us the music, giving us videos, visuals, interviews, print interviews, audio interviews. They're traveling, they're making shit happen. It was like, all right, yeah, this shit is, let's go. And then in the course of the last couple of days, it went from a very organized type of rollout to seeming a little bit frayed and a little bit discombobulated, or at least it seems that way, right? That it could be organized chaos from their perspective, but receiving it, it's like, damn, what the fuck going on? Why is half the album, essentially like leaked? It's nice to hear it, but I hope it doesn't hinder the overall success of the album, especially when we're all corralling behind the clips and saying, yo, if we want to keep this thing rolling, this is the current project to get behind. We're going to have to, purchase it, which I've already purchased mine, stream it, like make this thing work to the best of our ability, so that, you know, artists like Clipse who are out here that don't have the same resources of the major labels and all of that shit, and we're seeing the major label system crumble, and they're doing layoffs left and right, people playing musical chairs like they have been for the last 20 years. They're trying to figure out the next thing after TikTok. We don't know if TikTok is going to remain a thing out this motherfucker. It's so much going on, but I just hope that they don't end up, you know, putting too much out there too soon when the album is just around the corner. Like the interviews, we have enough. We're good. I'm gonna fucking play So Be It right after this. I'm gonna play goddamn H Trumpets after this too. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think of all this down below, man. And of course, this is just coming from a strictly purist place. Some people don't give a fuck. Some people just gonna be like, man, when it comes, I'm gonna bump that shit anyway. And I get that too. I'm gonna be the same person. But just for the sake of conversation. All right, let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. All right, peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross I'm out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.